we want to get, what we want to receive in today's session, we can use the chat box just to have an expectation of what we want to achieve in today's session, so that we can uh, provide solutions, touch every areas that we need to get in this session. And as I've mentioned, that the foundation of what we are doing to in the aspect of our career begins at when we start the stage of being a graduate and moving to the corporate world, having to navigate that process, having to position ourselves to enter the corporate world. So, and as I've mentioned, that one of the things that I believe is starting early, preparing, as once someone graduates, preparing again to position himself to that to that place. So we have two amazing speakers here this evening. We have Olade Joladipopo and then Bukumi Agbola. So firstly, I would like to hand over the mic to Olade Joladipopo to take over this session. But before he comes up with that, um, he was also a graduate, and you know, and he also gained some experience in the aspect of an internship, and then is now a senior professional. So without no further ado, I would like to hand over the mic to Oladeji Oladipo. So can we jam our hands together this evening as we welcome Oladeji Oladipo? Are you on the call?
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me around. Thank you so much. Um, it's my pleasure to be here this evening, and I'm so glad we are doing this because I know many of us don't have this. Some people don't have this kind of opportunity, and it's actually leverage because you know knowledge helps you channel your energy towards the right place and build the required value system that ultimately transforms into maybe money, fulfillment, and career development. And that's why we are here. This is more like a talk space, and it basically for people who are into who wants to get into the finance or accounting space, their finance or accounting spaces, and it's just for us to share with us what we've gone through, our story, and you learn from it at the same time. Of course, my story is not Bukumi's story, is not Kenny's story. My story is different from everyone's story. Though there are similar things you can always pick from the story of individuals that you can apply to yourself. And also it gives you a leverage to know that there is possibly there are possibilities like this, which we did not know. And I think that's what we are having to share and discuss this evening. Okay, let me start from school. Um, please, okay, please you can go to Kenny. You can go to your DM. I dropped the message for you. So starting from school, some people have the opportunity to maybe have interned during their 100 level, some 200, some 300, some 400. But you will notice that those that have the opportunity specifically are those in maybe engineering, sciences, and the likes. I don't think there's any school currently that you are having your maybe degree and BSc, and they made it a matter of compulsion. If there's a school like that, you can let me know in the chat box that it's compulsory for you to intern. maybe before getting to your 300 level or 400 level. Um, Basically, for most of us, it's not compulsory. It's just, oh, do what you have to do, pass your exams, and then get into 400 level and graduate. It's You would now be the one to maybe sort yourself out before time. And the preconceived notion we used to have that, oh, maybe it's someone that knows someone that can intern or that can get into so organization or so company, right? And that ideology, right? Although it's true in Nigeria actually that, oh, if you know someone that knows someone, you can get somewhere. But really, if you also don't, okay, thank you. If you also don't know someone, and but you are sure of yourself, or you can pitch yourself rightly, you can also get somewhere. So it's basically about story. And so I getting to 200 level, since I got to 200 level, I'd always had this thought that I've always started thinking about outside school, not wanting to start ICANN. And this would be my encouragement to people in this field who have not started ICANN yet. Once you know that, oh, you want to pitch, you want to grow in the career lane when it comes to accounting, finance, business, and all sorts related, I would advise you to start your ICANN on campus. Specifically, maybe if you are someone who, if you are very confident of yourself, you can start in 100 level. If you are not confident, you can start in 200 level like myself. And maybe if you have financial constraints, okay, you can start immediately after graduating, 400 level. But I would boldly say it that when it comes to our field, should I say to a good extent, ICANN is one of the cheapest exams you can write, like in terms of cost, right? If you calculate how much you spend on ACCA, or calculate CIMA, or calculate CFA, or all of these exams I'm mentioning, they are put ATS1 to ATS3 combined with skills and professionals exam, both tutorial and everything. You may not use the whole amount. Like the whole amount may not be sufficient to write one stage, one level. For instance, I'm writing professional level for ACCA now. If I calculate how much I'm spending totally, the money I've spent on ICANN altogether cannot pay for just one level of the ACC I'm about to write. One of my friends recently wrote CFA, and the amount is spent on CFA level one, put the whole ICANN money together, I cannot do that. So that's just one thing you can gift yourself, is to write ICANN while in school. So thank you, Jumoke. So and but if you don't have that opportunity, there's another route, the route of internship or volunteering. So, in most of our schools, some of our schools, we have Bureau of Accountancy, Bureau of Finance, Bureau of Management, Tax Club, and all sorts. Right from 100 level, ensure you join any of these communities. The major advantages for this community, I wasn't able to join, although I tried joining Bureau of Accountancy, that was 400 level. Due to my commitment, I was committed in school fellowship while on campus, so I was so engaged. And at the same time, I was writing ICANN, I think, and I wrote NIM2 on campus, and at some point I was doing FMVA program and the like. So those were my commitments, and at the same time I had some other commitments at home. So those were the things that could not afford me to, partake in what's it called now? Things beyond um, things around volunteering, right? Though when I got to 400 level, there was one volunteering I did. I volunteered for FLC chairman. There used to be a conference we hold in Christian Accounting Student Fellowship. I genuinely went ahead to meet our president, then the person of Mr. Kenny, and told him that I want to volunteer to be the chairman for this committee, and I will take it up upon myself. And that was what I did. I did that during our final year. So that what that gives you is actually a leverage to understand leadership. And also when you put it in your CV, your employer can know that you have an idea of what leadership entails. Imagine you telling them that you've coordinated a student of 400 in achieving so and so, because that's what they are interested in. I want to see that you have a connection. You understand what leadership means. You understand what team playing is. You have a quality of you have a team experience and also so, and there's no way you can get all of those if you don't maybe volunteer or be a part of things like that. So that's one of the things. So first part is ICANN and the likes. Another part is interning outside of the school, the four walls of the school. So mostly people who have this leverage, there are people, especially in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, and the likes. People in maybe Ibadan, Osun State, and the likes, we are a bit disadvantaged because of location, right? And that's why you see people in Lagos 100 level they've started interning during their summer holiday. 200 level they intern, 300 intern. So before you even get to 400, they won't even employ you in as an intern anymore. They will bring you in as a staff or as a professional. Why? Because you've been with them 100 level to 200, you spent 3 months, 200 to 300, 300, you spent maybe 4 months. If there's a public holiday or maybe strike or something, you're already spending that time with them and all. So before you get to your final year, you're already close with the management. You already know what you want to do with your life. You can, or at that time, you already know if you want to transition into another field or do some other things. So I would say another route is via experiences, and how you can get those experiences while on campus is through internship. So and I would advise you, if probably your dad works in an organization, a big place where he is part of the management or he is the owner of the organization and the likes. I would advise you to an extent to serve there, or if possible serve somewhere else, so that you can come after a while to bring value to um, that business, right? To bring value to the business. So there's a track of what's it called now? Experience. So interning 200 level, interning 300 level, and the likes helps you a lot. So if you have missed these two parts while on campus, there is still hope. All right, getting out of school. So, while writing our final year project, I some of my friends will say, "Oh, I'm currently." Some of our colleagues then will be like, "Oh, I'm currently." I could remember one of us then will be like, "I'm currently interning with EY. This I'm currently interning with KP. I interned with KPMG during 300 level." I'll be like, "Where are you guys doing all this? And you did not even inform us. You did not pass the memo around. What am I doing with my life?" So, but actually, before writing the final exams, I've made up my mind. I've created my CV, my resume, and the likes. I've read a lot of things because I had made up my mind that I'm not going back home after my final exams. I just want to leave Ife and get somewhere. And I've been taught that, oh, you may get somewhere where they won't pay you, or they will pay you less, or this or that. Even add, and that's one of the advantages of having a mentor. Our mentor had told me how that you can, even if you don't get a place, you can give yourself out to some organizations and tell them that you will work for free for them, just so that you can gain the experience. And it's now that I can see what experience can do to you, actually, because um, employers perceive you based on your value, right? They don't give you what you demand or what you are entitled to. They give you they pay you based on the value they can perceive of you. I mean, some kind of employers, while there are some organizations where they have already structured plan that regardless of the value you are bringing in, you must fill in or fit into their structure. And that's why someone can come into my organization today. We graduated at the same time. We have the same qualification, but it will be paid maybe times four, times three of my salary, because they perceived that, oh, this guy is coming from KPMG. Oh, he has a track record of working with auditing firms or working with finance houses and things like that. oh, he told us he has knowledge in SAP software or this ERP and the likes. And because of that, they will be like, no, we won't pay you like the normal staff. We will pay you based on this category. We are placing you on an assistant general manager level. Even with my level of year of experience and my year of we graduated at the same time, have the same qualification and all sort, but because of the value they perceive of the, they will pay him based on that, and that's why you must be able to increase your value system. All right. Even though employers are not interested in how much you can do when you are setting out like as an intern, but really there's an undertone of what can you bring to the table or what can you offer. So, getting out of school, you have this ideology that, oh, I can't offer anything. I don't know anything. I don't have any idea. You know, some of us, because we've not had a first-hand experience before, so it makes us a bit timid that we don't have experiences and what we would offer. But at the same time, one way to help yourself out of that is to start somewhere. Start somewhere. Don't just fold your arms and be like, I can't. If I try to apply for an internship position in maybe KPMG or in any of those organizations, now what would, if they ask me what can I do? What will I say I can do? I only read case study. I only did CSME. I only did this and that, management in or accounting on campus. So what will I tell them I can offer? Some of us will even be like, oh, the ERP system we were taught in school, for those of us that went to AU, that studied in AU, Peachtree, you'd be like, it's only Peachtree they taught us, and I'm not even sure about it. So I don't understand. Some will put ERP system, must have an idea of one ERP system, either QuickBooks, SAP, and all those accounting softwares. And you'd be like, I don't have an idea of any of this. Some will even put modeling, financial modeling is an advantage, you know. So, but really, when you say all those things, they are not, they are just there. One of majorly for an intern, they are majorly there, mostly there to sieve the kind of people that will join in. But that shouldn't push you back. You should attempt all of those things. It increases your confidence and makes you exposed to those things, make you exposed to what is required by employers and to make you also well positioned for that. All right, so continuing my story, getting to writing final exams, I'd already made up my mind that once before I'm done with my final exams, I must have secured a place for internship. So I started. I wasn't active on LinkedIn. No, I used to have LinkedIn. I just post once a while there. I don't even post at all. Yeah, I don't post at all. Social media, I'm not that active on. Maybe Instagram, IG, or Twitter, and all sorts. Then, so it was during that time I just go back on all those platforms intentionally because I'm looking for should I say I'm looking for a job. So, and of course I reached out to, and that's even one advantage too for people who have people doing something somewhere, people in your related field that you can reach out to, even though many times, most times it may not work out. Like maybe you reach out to a senior colleague or a family member or an uncle somewhere and be like, oh, is there an opening at your workplace? Oh, please link me up. Oh, please, I want to do this. Oh, I want to intern at your company, this and that and that and that. Most times they will tell you yes, okay, and they would maybe one way or the other find a way to just keep you on the in the loop. But the best way to get things like that is to push out yourself, right? And you can't push out by going to those companies physically and saying you want to submit your CV. I've seen people do that before, even at my workplace, and I see, the receptionist bring up CVs from the security floor, and you'll be like, these people wants to intern, these people want to do their IT, they submitted. They don't those things. They don't get, even if they get to the HR, they don't work on most of them. Many a times, many a times, they don't work on most of them. Well, you might be lucky. There are some organizations that will check that, but some most top organizations don't have time for people like that. They see that you are serious when you have your way towards them, maybe online or through, by one way or the other. So that brings about you writing emails, you maybe writing cold emails. I could remember that time, some months back, I was checking through my emails, sent box, and I saw that I've actually sent emails to a number of organizations in Lagos then, just telling them that, oh, this is it, I'm just writing my final exams. I want to, after I'm done with my final exams, I want to start with them, pitching myself, attaching my resume, and all sort. uh, I noticed that many of them did not respond, right? But the ones that responded, I think two or three responded, or one, sha. And but what that gave me was, that gave me a boldness and a level of confidence, to approach organizations. And the ones that responded, it made me see what they actually require from me, right? So it was in the process of being on all those social media platforms that I was able to, identify that, oh, this company, that company, this company needs intern, or this company needs. In fact, there are many companies that they don't, companies don't post. Many companies don't post when they need an intern or something. But when you see that there's an opening, maybe for finance or accounting, 2 years experience, 3 years experience, those are ways to shoot your shot one way or the other, by maybe reaching out to one of their HRs online via LinkedIn. You can type, or HR for so 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 company on LinkedIn, and to bring it out, human resource management people, and you can type organizations on LinkedIn, find a way to reach out to their handlers, or people who work in that organization, to inquire how that. And there's a way you pitch yourself, because I've seen so many people maybe come to my DM on LinkedIn, ask, oh, is there an opening, is there this, is there that. There are people I respond to based on the way they present maybe the way they presented their case, or the way they approached me online, while there are some I don't even reply at all, because of the way they presented themselves. So there is a way you can pitch, you present yourself, and you attract the right person for what you want to do. So that's that. Majorly because it's our finance story, and time is not on our side. I would say so. I saw the opening for my workplace. I saw it online, and then I submitted my resume, and I think they called me. Before then, I'd always practiced all this. Yes, ALX exposed me to writing all these, how will I put it now, tests. For those of us that did ALX test before you got maybe your virtual assistant course, or your FMVA course, then during the lockdown when they made it free a bit and all those things, or software engineering course and the likes, you will notice that there was a test then, a test where they show you shapes, they will tell you to all those verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, and some of those word problems and the likes. Exactly, you need to go and be practicing those tests. If there are places where you can do those things online, go on them and go and practice them over and over again. GMAT test. They used to say it when we were on campus. I don't count it until I started writing tests, and I saw that, oh, so most times they don't even want to take. They are not. They are at first, the first level. They are not testing your accounting knowledge. The first level is to test how intelligent you are, how much you pay attention to details, how much you can solve problem on the spot, how much you can identify a lack on the spot, or how will I put it now? An opening, maybe, oh, they put four shapes, what's missing, how much you can easily think, and your thinking ability, your intelligent quotient, and also that's the first test they are giving you. And if you can't pass that one, you can't move to the next stage. So, and for most organizations, once you pass that one to an extent, there's a high chance for you to pass the next one, because the next one will definitely mostly be maybe on your field, in your field of interest, or it will be a case study to test your communication skills, your presentation, your analytics, presentation, and communication skills. So that's how it works, for most organizations. So right now, if you want to get into any organization when it comes to maybe internship or graduate training or anything, this is not something you can do without. You can't do without knowing, learning and practicing quantitative reasoning questions, verbal reasoning questions, um, GMAT, word problems, and all sorts. And even what's it called? Current affairs. Yes, not even current affairs, world affairs. What day was that I took? Was it PwC test or so? And The essay, I think the essay was, you have options of alternatives of essay to write about, and one of the essays, the one I picked, was on a global economy inflation, and I have to explain on global economy inflation. Jesus, I was like, who told me that all these news I used to read, they are in vain, right? Because those were the things that supplied me with information and data to put down. So you have to have an idea of what's going on in the world, what the effect of Ukraine-Russia war is causing in the global market, how it's affecting natural gas, or what is UNICEF doing, who is the Secretary General of United Nations, and all sorts. To an extent, just have an idea. Don't read it based on the way we read when we're on campus. Read it based on the fact that you just want to have the knowledge of who controls World Bank, what are the different stratas and different communities under World Bank, and all sorts. So those things give you a leverage to position yourself rightly when it comes to the entry level, and specifically graduate trainee internships and the likes. So they are not really interested in how much of accounting you know, or how much of finance you know. What's the current tax law saying? What's the yeah, you need to know that, or what IFRS 14, what IFRS 15, 16 is all about, and why are we moving to IFRS, is it 17 or 18 now from IS 1 and the likes. Fine, those things are needed, but they don't really require that. First off, the first thing they require is to test your intelligence. Then the next stage will be all of these things I just mentioned: your accounting knowledge, your finance knowledge, your tax knowledge, your auditing knowledge, your ERP software knowledge, and all sorts. So you need to now upgrade yourself to understanding what you do or what you stand for. Imagine you asking an accountant what IS1 is all about, and he cannot even say anything about IS1. That means you are not even account at all. Talk less of accounting or accountant. You just not someone they can deal with, and so and apart from that, you need to learn communication skills. You know, when they will interview you, they won't interview you maybe by typing. People, it's rare before you find an organization that maybe after your test they did not interview you physically. They will interview you physically. So your ability to communicate, your ability to project yourself, your ability to sell yourself is just one skill and strategy you must learn. Some people they've sold themselves short. I've seen organizations where they give you leverage, the ability to choose what you will be paid. And when you pick something less, that's what they will pay you. They will pay you what you pick, what is less, based on the fact that you did not do your research, you did not analyze the industry they are in, and also I have so many other things to say. I think let me just share one basic testimony about myself before I hand it over back to Kenny. I hinted before starting my NYC, and during my NYC there was this. I was having challenge when it comes to transportation and all, so I went to meet my manager. This is for people who are already in the corporate space, anyways. That you must learn to sell yourself, to place yourself valuable before your employer, specifically your managers and the people in the management level, top management level. You must be able to pitch yourself rightly to them. So having realized my worth to the organization over the years, over the time, right, just few months now, I mean just few years now. And I went to meet my boss and I was telling her that I need a raise. Even as an intern, as an NYC person, I was still doing, I think that was December. No, no, that was November last year. I was like, November, December, I was like, I needed a raise. I can't continue like this because this is Lagos. Things are very expensive. And I couldn't cope. I needed something, maybe a transport allowance or something. And she was like, Deji, is it that you want a transport allowance, or you want to be staffed in this organization? You know, and next thing I said was that I'm still writing I'm still doing my NYC. I can't be staffed. Like when you're telling your destiny helper that this is not possible. That was exactly what happened. I told her that it's not possible. Like I can't be staffed because I'm not done with NYC. They told us that it is when you are done with NYC, you have to write an exam. They will now start to consider you for being placed, for being given a staff role, And she was like, okay, no problem, no problem, no problem. And the next thing I would hear was that the organization was conducting a training for people that would be transitioned from being intern to being staffed. My mind was locked up that I won't be considered. I still have like 4 months or 5 months to go into my NYSC. And so there's no possibility of that. So let me just keep quiet. Then she called me. She was like, "Okay, your transport allowance has been approved." At that time, they added 50K to my money, and it was like, "Okay, even after that, don't worry. I'm working on you being staffed. This is about positioning, this is about value, this is about selling yourself, right? And this is about communication, right? Some would say call it eye service, or how would I put it, office politics and the likes. No, you just need to know who is in charge, or who is powerful, and be able to position yourself rightly and sell yourself rightly to such a person in the organization. And then the next thing I would say is that they called me for the training session. We had it for about a week or two, uh, and then we wrote an exam, and then the rest is history. I was being paid staff salary even before I finished my NYSC. 3 months before my NYSC, and then I was being paid a staff salary. And then even after completing my NYSC, all the regularization document, all those things were done, and the likes. I'm driving at the point that you must be able to position yourself rightly. There is opportunity, there is opening, there is ability to grow, even regardless of your level. I have a friend, even a younger sister, that is already a staff even while serving, like being paid the full staff salary, controlling the whole accounting department and the likes, based on the way you are able to sell yourself, your value system, and your perceived worth and value. I think this is where I call it a pause. Thank you so much, Kenny, for having me.
Thank you so much, Oladeji. Can we clap for our first speaker this evening? I mean, it's an amazing flow that that we can learn a lot from. I mean, I've learned some things, and it's just a refresher. And you know, I've learned some things on what you mentioned, and those were the things I discovered that um, one of the things that we need to build as being a graduate is value. Is value. Like before you try and say you want to enter the workplace, what value do you want to bring to the table? How do you want to position yourself to become a sought out person in your organization? And then that brings me to, I think one time I mentioned something. I think that brings me to the aspect of interviews. I mean, I was just starting as a graduate, so I think it was Bukumi that sent me one accounting yard interview. So I watched that video on how to how to go for an accounting route to position yourself to be employed as an accounting person. So I watched that video and I look at how the person negotiated salary, what's the budget for the role, and I those were the things that really helped me. Like even when I was trying to move from where I was before, so they just asked me that what do I want to call it? I just said what's the budget for the role. So and I said it's this and this. I said I want this, and then so what we need as being a sought out person, I mean, a person of value in our career is how well can we position ourselves to be open to knowledge? What association can we create? What networking ability do we have so that we can begin to pivot ourselves to where we want to be? And that's how I'm going to wrap up that area on what Oladeji mentions that it's better to start early and then in the aspect of skills, building yourself as a valuable person, and then sending cold emails. I mean, you're not you might think that oh, what value can I bring, but it's also it's you don't know what can click from any area, and there will be rejections, but you don't know which one can click, and you don't know which opportunities that you can even derive from that. And proceeding further in this session, I would like to bring to the table Bukumi Agbola to share with us on this what the experiences and the lessons and how graduates can position themselves to enter the workplace, how they can make an impact, and what can they do to be able to move ahead in their career journey as they start their career journey. So over to you, Bukumi Agbola. Can we just do a emoji of a clapping emoji for our second speaker as they take us through this session? Over to you.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. It's been an opportunity and a privilege to be here this evening and to speak to us. I also want to thank my guest and my pastor, Pastor Deji and Pastor Kenny. Thanks so much. All right. Okay, please, Pastor Kenny, can you hear me?
It's
Hello,
very
sir.
well.
Can
Though
you hear
it's
me?
breaking, it's breaking somehow a bit
All
before,
right.
but it's stable now. Yes, yes, I can hear you.
Okay. All right. So, all right. So, okay, you know, from our journey almost similar, it kind of, but we have different paths to follow because we all of us finished from OAU, and while many people have the opportunity of serving in a finance world, I serve in a school. I serve at Odua College in Ile-Ife. So that's where I use my NYC. So why am I sharing this is that, uh, personally, I do encourage people or recent guys that if it is possible and if they have the power to influence it, they should do their service to where they can serve in their career paths. But if it's not possible, that's not an excuse to they should move forward. So why am I saying this? Is that even while I was serving in Ile-Ife as a classroom teacher, it's giving me leverage in learning my Excel skills. So that was the time I have time. Those are the periods where I have time for myself to learn Excel. So I was able to use Excel for a lot of stuff that even when I attend interviews, I still do use Excel. I can say, okay, I've done this on Excel. I can do this. I can help this company to do this or this and do that. I'm not saying I'm more like a value I bring to the table. So as a recent graduate, one of the things you have to do for yourself is that you position yourself for the life beyond school. And one of the things you can do is by leveraging on LinkedIn, like Pastor Deji has rightly put. Before I finish my NYC, an organization reached out to me on LinkedIn, offering me like they gave me an offer that okay, after NYC I should come on board. So after NYC, so we spoke, but it was after NYC I noticed that they are not serious. But why am I saying this is that yes, they reached out to me during NYC and it was through LinkedIn. So some of the little things you think you post and you think that people are not is not getting impression, people are not engaging it. Let me tell you, one way or the other, some people are noticing it. You might not just know. Earlier this year too, there's another organization that reached out to me on LinkedIn. They're in Abuja. So when they reach out to me, now okay, they want me to like, can I come in for this role? I told them I'm not in Abuja. So I have to I asked them that can I get CVs of people and recommend them, and they said sure. I sent some people's CV to them. So that's position yourself. So your LinkedIn profile too is a way to do that. So aside that too, one thing about transitioning from graduate to the corporate world is going to be full of up and down. It won't be that rosy. Because I remember then when we finished, there was a time, I think there is a particular period, I and Pastor Kenny, we usually apply almost to the same thing. So if we have interviews now, if I have interview like let's say I have interview by 12 p.m. he's going to have his own interview by, let's say, 12:30. So like if I go next, he will go next, like the way we are shall be doing it. So immediately we finish, we give each other gist. Okay, this is the question they ask, those are the things they do. So we keep sending links to another, we keep pushing ourselves. So as we are doing this thing, rejections are coming. Yes, a lot of time there will be rejection. At times, yes, there will be acceptance. And even at some point too, you'll be the one to reject too. If some people that do check my LinkedIn post, there are some I think I posted something on this offer letter and the likes. There are some offer letters I got too, and I reject them too. Some are not, maybe it's not just about the pay alone, it's about the working condition or what I perceive as the way that are going to treat me. So we also have the chance to reject. And one thing is that is a game of number. The more you apply, the more you get accepted, the more you get rejection. I think in the first quarter of this year, virtually in a week, I will have at least 2 interview or 2 tests to write. So, like what Pastor Deji said, as a graduate, you will write tests. You have to prepare for that. Verbal reasoning, quantitative reasoning, abstract reasoning. There is no way you can escape that. And the essence of this is that there are so many graduates outside. So they need to filter out some people. So it's not just about what you study alone. So it's about how intelligent you are. So it's about how you can spot a difference. When they give you a report, how can you spot a difference? How can you spot an anomaly on a spot? So those are the things that are so essential of you. So like I said, it's a game of number. You should be like you should be getting rejection. If you are not getting rejection, that means you are not trying. I think recently I was checking my mail and I noticed that I've not been getting rejection like before. That means I've not been applying like that. So the more you apply, the more you get rejection. And the more you get rejection, or the more you apply, the more your chance of getting be accepted. So for someone in finance and accounting space, one thing you have to do is that your Excel skills, to learn Excel. Even I was talking to one of our fathers that Excel should even be like a course, a compulsory course for each semester. Like someone that studied a core accounting course now, you'll be doing introduction to accounting, let's say the 100 level, introduction to accounting second semester to advanced financial accounting. You keep building like that. Excel should even be like a course, like a every semester course. So anyone that is going to finance and accounting, there is no way you want to go about it without learning Excel. If you don't learn Excel now, go and learn it. And one thing is that most of these things in Excel that people like, when I check most most job description, they say you must be proficient in advanced Excel. When I check the advanced stuff, what they put there, they will put pivot chart, VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP. Yes, it might look like advanced, but to me, they still look like almost basic. And one thing is that most of the things you are going to do, you are still going to is those VLOOKUP, XLOOKUP, pivot chart. Those are the things you are going to be doing. And also, uh, during my NYC, like the last 2 months of my NYC, I started getting another stipend because of my Excel skills and the knowledge of financial reporting. So someone reached out to me, okay, can you help us to prepare financial statement with an incomplete statement, bank statement, and the likes. And I was able to do that. And at least aside my alawi, then at least I was able to get something aside my alawi. So as someone in the finance and accounting space, Excel skill is very essential. I know most people now want to focus on learning accounting software. Learning accounting software is actually good. I'm not against it. But I do tell people accounting software uh, is not a substitute for your accounting knowledge. You have to be sound in your accounting knowledge first. Because the way I see accounting software is like, they are just like, let me say Soul Books is like, let's say Soul Books like Facebook, Zero is Twitter, uh, um, QuickBooks is Instagram, all those things. So one thing is that if you can operate Facebook, you should be able to find your way around Twitter. They are not the same thing. But because you can use Facebook, you should be able to find your way around Instagram and other social media platforms. So which means that once you are able to operate an accounting software with the knowledge and with your accounting knowledge, you won't find it hard or you won't find it difficult to operate or to find your way around other accounting software. So as you are trying to learn accounting software, first ensure that your accounting knowledge is very essential and is very solid. And this is the time for people that are graduates now. This is a time for you to revisit your old notes. Yes, you are not writing for exam again, you are not writing exam, you are not reading to pass, you are reading to actually understand what those concepts are. You know, most of the things when I post some things on my, let's say on my status about taxes, most of those things are when I started reflecting on them, like, okay, why is this tax like this? Why is withholding tax being charged like this? Why is the remittance like this? So when that's when you start getting the rudiment and you get the basic understanding of those things. Because now when you go to an interview, yes, they still want to test your basic knowledge, but it won't be good at this stage that okay, you are a graduate of accounting or you have a finance related certificate. So they're now asking you how should a state be treated? Because at least how should a state be treated? They expect you to at least to say something meaningful. Even as an entry level, they know that okay, you don't really know much, there is no much experience, but still they still want you to say something, at least something meaningful, which could be actually be in line with your book knowledge. So moving forward, as graduates looking forward to their accounting space or the finance space, just know that your social media activities, it matters and it counts a lot. And one thing is this: don't be silent, let people know what you do. Let people know what you do. If you don't tell people what you do, or let's say even if you are looking for a job, you are looking for internship, talk to people, let people know. If people don't know, when there's opportunity, they won't be able to share with you. But when you told them that okay, I'm looking for an internship at this particular place, they'll be able to reach out to you. I could remember when we finished our final paper, I had um, details of ACCAs, the current ACCAs, like consulting firms in Lagos and Ibadan. I think I have like almost 100 or so, and I have their emails. I sent mails to almost all of them in Ibadan. So when I sent to Baker Tilly too. I think if you are in Ibadan, you should know Baker Tilly. So I think yes, they actually responded. So they told me that there is no opening for intern then. So I sent to a lot of people. I sent to if you know Professor Oye, is it Oyedokun? Yeah, I sent to him too because he has office in Ibadan at UI. So when I messaged him, he now told me that the opening is in Lagos. So, but I'm still in Ibadan, so that's why I couldn't take up the offer. So why am I saying this is that the more you send it out, the more your chance of being accepted and the more your chances of being rejected too. But if you are not seeing rejection, you won't see acceptance. If you are refreshing your mail, there are times I refresh my mail almost every time. But why am I refreshing my mail? It's because I've sent something out. I'm expecting something. But you are not sending mail, you are refreshing your mail. Which mail is going to enter? So nothing will enter now. So in short, don't limit yourself. Don't limit yourself. And I know there is this notion that most of us do have, that in Nigeria you have to know people. Is that true? Yes, it is true. But is that entirely correct? That's no. It's not really correct. Okay, where I currently work, before my NYC, okay, during my NYC, I applied then. No, before NYC, I applied then, so I was accepted. But they told me that I have to be posted to Lagos before I can get accepted and sign the offer letter and the likes. But I was not posted to Lagos. What did I do? I move on. So after almost to the end of my NYC, I still reach out to them, send mails to them. They didn't really respond to the mail. But one way or the other, I still later entered it. So why am I saying this is that Don't let rejection, don't be scared of rejection. Be like, let me just be chopping rejection like water. Let rejection flows, let it comes. It's part of the story you will tell. And one thing is that even because when you apply and they reject you, you don't stop there. You keep adding value to yourself. You keep adding value to yourself. Those exec skills, keep developing them. And those management reports, a lot of people are accountant, they can't prepare management report. There are a lot of videos you can watch. And thank God for LinkedIn. There are a lot of, like, almost every day there are articles, there are posts that you can even just go there with your jotter. There are a lot of people that are writing a lot of amazing things on LinkedIn, like a lot of technical accounting writing. You just see people on LinkedIn, they will break it down for you. And those things, one way or the other, you might actually need them at the interview. And also, let me just put this in before I drop the mic. Um, for people in the accounting space, if you are undergraduate here, I will still encourage you, take up your ICANN now. Why am I saying this? Number one, like Pastor Deja said, ICANN is cheap. That's the first thing. Then number two, if you are writing your ICANN as a student, you have more leverage in the sense that the university system has a way of giving you support. You have your fellow students that are reading. There is that reading atmosphere that you enjoy. Let me tell you, if you are working, for you to write ICANN is very, very, very hard. Why is it hard? Is that number one, there is a deadline you have to meet, and all those deadlines, they are tied to appraisal. If you don't meet them, your promotion is tied to it. So they don't want to hear that, because I'm having ICANN, that's why I couldn't meet up with this deadline. No. And also, because you have a deadline to meet up, that's not an excuse for you. And during your undergraduate days, most likely you are going to get financial support from your parents, because, to be sincere, ICANN is a bit cheaper. If you tell your parents that how much are you paying, let's say for 8 years, let's say you are paying like 30,000, like that's like in the space of 6 months. It's something you can gather. You can call people that I'm going to write exam in the next 3 months. The exam fee is 50,000. I need 20,000 from you. They'll be able to assist you. But when you graduate, the burden, your like how to the financial burden will rest on you. So I will still encourage you, if you are writing ICANN, if you are undergraduate, you have not started your ICANN, this is a call for you, you should start. And those of you that are working too, I know it won't come easy. But one thing is that in this career we have chosen, there is a need to update our knowledge. There is a need to update our knowledge. That is why now, presently we are using IS1 to prepare financial statements. From 2027, we'll be using IFRS 18. So which means that if your knowledge of IS1 is what you are still using, that knowledge will not be relevant again in 2027. So if you don't update your knowledge, then you will be redundant. So which means that you might be a boss now. By the time IFRS 18 comes up, someone with IFRS 18 knowledge can actually be placed above you. And also, presently now, the tax law we are using now. If you don't update yourself, you don't update your payroll schedule, by the time we enter 2026 now, that payroll schedule you are using is not be relevant again. That your tax knowledge will not be relevant again because of the new tax law. And why is it not going to be relevant is that if you don't stick to the new tax law, there will be penalty for your organization. And you can't be working in an organization as an accountant and they will still be incurring penalty. Automatically that kind of accountant will be laid off. So which means that if you are into the finance and accounting space, there is a need for you to constantly update your knowledge with whatever is happening in the industry. So, and let me just say this before I go. Just know that your earning capacity will be dependent on your learning capacity. You have to learn. So when you learn, that learning you can now transform it to earning. Because how do you earn? You earn by creating value. And before you can create value, you must have learned something. That whatever you have learned and you are able to turn it into value, That's what is going to transform into money for you. So thank you so much once again, everyone, for being here with me. Thanks so much, Kende, for bringing a platform like this. Thanks so much. I'm really honored to be here. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Bukumi. Thank you so much, DG. So great to, I mean, thanks for the knowledge sharing. So great to have everyone here this evening. It's been a enlightening session. It's been a great session. And I want to encourage every graduate and undergraduate here that it's very important, as Bukumi and they just mentioned, that we start early. We start our certifications early. Even me too, I'm also in the process. I didn't do it when I was on campus due to financial constraint. But I know what it is, that trying to merge your job with getting certifications is not easy at all, because you will have deadlines, daily deadlines. You will have some tasks, you will have some OKRs to meet. So that when you come to organization, they will give you an OKR that, okay, this is your objective and key results. This and this is what you will submit daily. This and this is what you will do quarterly. This and this is what you will do monthly and the like. So for you to now say you want to meet your OKR, some people call it KPIs, but my side is OKR. So if you don't meet that daily task, you will be queried if you don't submit your reports at a particular time. So trying to now say you want to match subscriptions with it we might try to, except with discipline, it might not work. Because sometimes when I do my daily tasks, I'm always tired and later. So that's it, to now carry book and say I want to read. It's a lot. So, I want to say this, that it's better to prepare ahead based on what I'm just based on what the facilitators have said. It's better to prepare ahead than prepare in the middle. So you know that you know your career journey, you know what is needed. Why don't you start now? I mean, what's the best way to start that now? I remember when we graduated and 2023 about, I started looking for courses. I started doing courses. I started talking to people, which courses do I need to do? Because it's a moment of relearning for me. I started revisiting foundations of accounting. I started to read about debit and credit again. Because one thing I knew was that 95% of everything you study in school will not be applicable to what you will do outside in the corporate world. You can't be saying that you will be doing container accounts, human resources accounting, which other one, other things. It's basically based on what your skills and what you can contribute. So I started looking for courses, reading and the likes, and I started applying. Most of us, what we do is when we graduate, we now start dusting our CV. But I think Deji mentioned that we now start dusting our CV, trying to put things together and the likes. And he mentioned that you can start from your bure, I mean your organization, join them. I think I only joined one organization, Bureau of Finance, and I left. And but at the time, I remember that, oh, I need to pick this thing again and try to learn some things. So we need to be part of that organization. We need to do volunteering. We need to do some things so that it will help our leadership prowess. Because let me say this, that when you get to the workplace, it's what you can contribute that matters. They don't look at what you can say or something. It's what you can do. What are the results that you can deliver? I mean, I remember that when in a meeting one day, that I was an intern then, and I just, out of that meeting, I just answered one question. I just asked one question and everybody went silent. They begin to clap for me at the end of that meeting. I was like, I just spoke out of, like, okay, this is what I know about this thing. And they were like, wow. They were like, wow. And they were clapping for me. In fact, it's got to be CEO, and he's like, does Kenny ask question in this? He asks question, and sometimes his question, we find it hard to understand. We find it hard to answer. We don't know the answer we give you, but the question answers that. So people started calling me the questionnaire, the questionnaire, the questionnaire, because anytime we're having meeting, I will contribute. So it was one day that someone said, the question that Kenny is asking, warn him. They told my boss, I warned him because one day I will stone him. One day I will stone him. So it is what you can bring to the table. What can people know you for? Can they know you as someone that is intelligent? Do you really understand the business? Because one thing that determines the key factor of what we are going to contribute in operations meeting, in finance meeting, is that most questions will revolve around making a decision concerning that finance or operation. So how well can you know the business that you can contribute and say that, oh, this is what I know, this is what we can do better, this is what we can do better. Even I started to meet my boss and say that, oh, can we do a knowledge sharing session? Can we just look at how we can organize things? Our receivables are high, and how do we kind of manage these things? So how well can we impact the organization? And that is based on what we can know now. And Bukumi mentioned something that your learning capacity determines your earning capacity. So how well can we learn to be able to position ourselves to what we can be? And he mentions that there are some courses on YouTube. I remember that Bukumi mentioned that when he has interview, I also have interview. So there was like, yes, he said, just told me that listen to this video by Accounting Yard on how to you apply for an accounting role. And I listened to it. I listened to everything, how you introduce yourself. And they mentioned something that it is how well you can sell yourself. I mean, how well can you sell yourself? I mean, you are in an interview and they ask you to tell us about yourself. How can you project what you can do? How can you? I mean, I was in an interview one day and someone mentioned that my name is this and this, and I'm a graduate of this and this and this, and he stopped there. I was like, no. So what can you tell us that you can do? And it was time that my boys would say, Kenny, take this interview. Just do it to play. Just do it to play. And I was like, I was playing with that interview. He asked me some questions and I was like, just playing. This is what I can do. I was just playing. I was just freestyling. They would ask me that what are the Excel things that that an average accountant cannot, that you can do. I said, I know them. And I begin to explain to them. And I was just freestyling and I just got it. I wasn't even serious. I wasn't that serious, but I just got that thing. So it depends on how well we can also be able to put a note of what we can do. I mean, how well can you explain what what you can do? I mean, you mentioned the aspect of LinkedIn. I mean, in 2023 was when I started my LinkedIn. I started posting, and people and some organization reached out to me. Like one organization reached out to me and said that, we need an accountant and the likes and the likes. And I submitted my CV. This is that it's not everything that we click, you understand, but why not start now? I mean, why not start now that you can? You can start as a graduate, as an undergraduate, try and relate with people for information. Did you mention something that there are people that were in the class that they were doing KPMG internship and the likes? I mean, it is based on that relationship with people that you can get to see opportunities. I mean, let me say this, that there are opportunities flying around every day. There are opportunities every day, but it depends on how well you can network. The people in your class, the people that how well can you relate with them that they can, give you opportunities. And sometimes it's not that people that you want people to relate with you, you create a moment of relationship, you create a moment of networking for people to begin to relate with you. I mean, that is how you can begin to see opportunities. That is how you can begin to gain opportunities. And there was one thing that I noticed when Bukum was sharing, that was that sometimes when you go for interviews, it's not only that you win that interview. I mean, you go with a mini mindset, but the people that you meet there, how can you connect with them? That okay, I and these guys were applying for the same role, but along the way we are not picked. Okay, can you? Is there any opportunity that later that you can share with me? And from there, you can begin to see opportunities around you. So it's not just about what you know alone, but how well can you associate with people in your peers and people around you that they can show you opportunities. As I've mentioned that, as I can say that most of the opportunities that we are looking for might not be on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is there too. But also sometimes it can be through networking. There are opportunities that through networking, remote, hybrid, there are opportunities around. So how can you network with people now? Some of us, some of us, some graduate, I was like that. Some graduates they don't talk in class, they don't relate with people, they just read and go to their hostels. But it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. It's when you join organizations, when you network with people, that you can bring out the opportunities that you want. And one of the things that I would like to say, as to drop up a conclusion and also bring us to the question and answer session, is that um, you need to understand that the season of your internship and graduate training is a moment of exploration. In the aspect of you trying to intern or graduate training, is a moment of where you can look at where you want to be in the next 5 years. I mean, some of us will say, I want to be a CFO, but sometimes it changes. Some can say, no, I'm not doing that again, but I'm going to investment banking. Some might say, no, I'm not doing, I don't want to do auditing again. I just want to move to tax. So it's a moment of exploration. You have that time to explore every angle and say, oh, let me just settle here. Because when there must be consistency as you walk in the line of your career. And that is what can set you apart for opportunities that are ahead of you. And as Bukumi and Deji has mentioned, that is when you don't get rejection, it means you are not trying. So why not try? Why not start creating that CV now? Why not start that networking now? Why not start getting involved in organizations in school, in schools, in your school, and begin to pivot yourself to where you want to be. And I want to say this, that those leadership experience, those what you did on campus still counts, because you'll be asked. I mean, I was in one interview like when I was in town, that one of the boss asked me, you said you have led 400 people to achieve a goal. How did you do that? I was like, I just this. I was like, how did you? I was, because I was in the in a conference in a church like that, a conference, and they said, do you know that, Kenny, that what you did, you can put it on your CV that I've led 400 people, I've led 2,500 people to achieve a strategic goal. I was like, wow. And I just put it on my CV, and the financial controller just asked me that, on your CV, you know that you've led over 400 people to achieve a goal. How did you do that? Where did you do that? I was like, in an interview, I was like, okay, this is what happened, this is what happened. And I was able to answer that question. At the end, I was just, and Bukumi said something that lastly, that if you have a where you want to do your NYC, it's not bad for you to position yourself there and just do it. Because one thing I've realized is that for you to move from NYC, let's say you didn't do what your course requires and you wanted to move to the corporate world, it's kind of sometimes hard, because and it's not hard, because if you put the necessary input of what Bukumi said, when he was a child, he was learning Excel, he was going for trainings and the like. If you put that into it, you'll be able to move ahead. But if, let's say, you don't do that, and you just in your NYC, you just, maybe you were posted to a laundry place, or maybe you were posted to a government or government parasata, and you did, there is no activity that you did there, you were just coming to your PPI, you were just going back and trying to want to pivot yourself to the workplace. It might not be it might not work. And one thing I would say is that when we get to NYC, let's try to mingle. I mean, you just heard that, okay, in OBS, I think OBS, first aid, when they are there, they just told them that, where do you want to be posted to? I mean, they just give them that leverage that, okay, you are in OBS, you are in first aid, you are in a band. They just, instead of not doing anything, but you are there, they will just give you an open check that, okay, where do you want to be posted to in this state? And you can choose. Because sometimes I see that if coppers don't do anything, they just, I'm not saying it's bad, but being involved can give you leverage if you don't have where you want to be posted to. I remember that during my NYC, I struggled to get where I want to be posted to, but I was not posted there. I was posted to one place in Lagos Island and I was rejected. I was like, Lord, they should not post me to school. They should not post me to school. I was like, pray, I don't want school because I was like, I just so. And then luckily on the way, from where I've applied before, they just called me, and that was what pivoted me to, starting the internship and then moving on. So with all these that speakers mentioned about, um, at this time there will be questions and answers that in case you are directing it to a speaker, it will be answered. And so is there any, I want to open the floor for questions, and you are free to unmute your mic as well to speak your question. So I will hand over to us now to take questions if there are any ones that we want to. So any questions from anyone as we'll call it a day this evening. I've seen a lot of people on the call. I've seen some orgas and everyone, so you're welcome. So Nuruddin, I see your hand raised up. You have a question, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening for the organizer, Mr. Kind Effector, and our speaker, Mr. Latipupo, and Mr. Pukome. We really appreciate you for a wonderful presentation. So my question goes like this. When I am a student of ABU 12 level, so concerning the career path, there is traditional accountant, right? Generally, I'm accountant is general one. So when I want to choose a career path, like I want to choose maybe corporate accountant, investment accountant, and so on like that. What step can I take to know this career that fits to my role, or this one or another one? Please, I need more expertise on this. Thank you, sir.
All right, I will give any of the speaker the floor. But which facilitator are you directing the question to, Nuruddin?
My question goes to Mr. Bukumi, sir.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Anuruddin. So for your question, you say, okay, you said you are still a student, and that's good. So for an accountant, irrespective of the field, irrespective of the industry, the first thing, or let's say the main responsibility of an accountant, is to prepare financial statements. So, okay, the first thing we just tell you is this: number one, the first thing is that you need to understand your double entry principle very well, because double entry principle is the same thing globally. So if you are debiting cash in Nigeria, when you get to UK, you will still be debiting cash. That will never change. So the first thing is that understand your double entry principle very well. Then the next thing is that, in this present age now, no matter how traditional you are, you have to leverage on technology. So that's where the Excel comes in. So you need to learn how you can prepare financial statement with Excel. Why did I mention Excel is that Excel is the least affordable, let's say, software. Although it's not an accounting software like that, but we can still use it for accounting. So it's the least affordable because almost everyone can actually access Excel. So you need to learn how to do that. And one of the platforms you can learn that is Accounting Yard. You can go to Accounting Yard. They have a lot of wonderful videos there on how you can prepare management account on an incomplete statement. So you can also, there are paid courses too. They have paid courses you can also go for. And another thing you can do is accounting software. But the issue with accounting software is that if you are not working, you will not be able to use accounting software because it requires subscription. And if you are not working, you won't actually have a kind of data you can work with. So like I said, you need to be solid in your knowledge of double entry principle, and by extension the knowledge of the accounting standard, like all these IFRS 15, how you are going to recognize revenue, the revenue recognition model, what are the steps to be followed, all those things. So basically, your Excel skills, your double entry principle, and let's say accounting principle. With all those things, you are good to go. Thank you. I hope I answer your question.
Yes, thank you, sir. I really appreciate.
Okay, okay. There's a question on the chat box. I will hand over to Deji to take this question from Barnabas. Good evening, sirs, and a big thank you for the session. My question is for a fresh graduate, can I accept an accounting intern role offer even if one is interested in a finance role, but a finance role isn't coming by?
Okay. Um, I would say this that uh, for me personally, I'm not a financial accounting advocate. Like, oh, debit and credit, let's do this, let's do that. Even though there's barely, you can ask me questions around the basic financial accounting that there's barely the one I won't understand or be able to provide answers to. But I'm not an advocate for financial. If you ask me what role what role can you offer me that I won't take, is the financial accounting role. If you offer me even a higher pay for financial accounting role based on what I'm doing currently, or even compared to what I'm doing currently, or whatever it is, that oh, I need you to take up this role as a financial accountant, and I'll be paying you higher all times to what you are earning now. I don't want to do financial accounting. So the thing is, even but for a starter, like you are starting out, you don't have choice, too much of alternatives. Yeah, you may say, oh, for instance, if you want to get into all those big four, you may say, oh, I want deals and advisory, I want investment banking, I want this, I want that, I want this, I want that. But when you are starting out as a fresh graduate or as an intern starting out, I don't think you should basically just go for investment banking or go for finance role or go for this and that. I think you should start from the basics. And of course, the basics is understanding how accounting works. And to an extent, it's not until you do financial accounting alone, but financial accounting gives you the leverage to understand how every numbers or every figure, how they play out at the end of everything that's in your financial statement. And it's based on these financial statements that investment bankers will work on, to calculate your P ratio, EPS, and the likes, just to provide information and communicate to shareholders, and how that they can leverage on that to know the best shares, best stocks, best bonds, and those calculations, and know what to go for. It is based on your accounting knowledge that you can work best. I'm a treasury accountant, to know, okay, what rate will be the best interest rate for a bank. How am I best to relate, to communicate my figures? What are the standard, what leverage can I have to maintain my cash flow, and all of those stuffs. If I don't have an accounting, basic financial accounting knowledge, I won't be able to understand how my cash flow statement works, all the three statement of financials, like the financial position and all sort, how they relate. What will be the effect of this withholding tax on my books? How are we meant to leverage on the loopholes in the tax system when it comes to payment? I make payment, and if I don't understand how it works, I won't understand how best to charge my withholding taxes, my VATs, and other necessary charges. So I would advise that if you have an accounting intern role, you want a finance role, they are similar. If you don't have a choice, of course, accounting intern role or finance role is just the first step in everything. From there, you can now start saying, "Oh, I no longer want to do financial accounting. I want to do finance, full finance." And it even depends on the finance you want to do, because finance is in different sphere. Is it corporate finance? Is it treasury accounting? Is it just the finance, the payable side of the finance, or the distributed side of the finance? It's also in different sphere. Okay, some will say, "Oh, they want to be an investment banker." Which specific kind of investment banker? Is it towards the the market space, or towards the financial technology space? And also, you have to understand what exactly you want to do. But even by that, starting out, I don't think you have much options or alternatives. The ones that are very available for people is the accounting, auditing associate, accounting associate, finance associate. Those are the basic ones. So from there, you can now pivot yourself to whatever you want to do. I think I've been able to answer that.
Yes, thank you, Oladeji. That was thank you. So we'll take the other one in chat box, the chat box. I want us to take the ones that the answer of Anete Sambo. I don't know, so I want to order that name. So let me go with you first. Um
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me, please?
yes, very well. I can hear
Okay,
you.
thank you very much for the talks and the teachings. I'm really grateful. So my question is, okay, after all the series application of various way of applying for jobs, you use LinkedIn, you use networking, you use various means, and you didn't get a job. Do you feel probably okay? Maybe, for example, you are applying for human resource and human resources is very competitive, like highly competitive. Should you go for something lower just to get into the company, even though the pay is not palatable, like the pay can't cover your means and everything? I don't know if you understand my question. Hello.
Yeah, very well. I understand
So
you. All right. So for that question, I will say that firstly, you mentioned that the based on that even if you get a a road and the pay is not that okay, am I correct to what you want it to be? Can you get other roles or something, right?
no, no, no. Like if you are applying for something competitive and there's a role lower than that, that it's easily for you to get, should you apply for that role, even though the money is not fine? And if yes, if you should apply for the role, is there possibility of you being promoted when you get into the company, or how? I don't.
All
Do you
right.
understand?
Yeah, very well. So I will say this that you have a where you want to be. I mean, where you want to get to. So I would suggest you go for that role because number one is that if you are being promoted also, where will you land? Will you land at where you want to be, or would it be somewhere else that would it be some a career late? Will it be another career path later on? And you have to look at the pay also. What about what's the transportation cost? What is we have to look at the aspect of cost as well. So is it another career path that one is bringing you to? Is it bringing you to like in the aspect of promotion? Will it also bring you to where you want to be, or is it taking to another career path? So you have to consider those factors as well, and the aspect of payment as well at the end of the month. So will it cover or settle you properly? So you still have to look at that angle. Do I answer you correctly?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I don't know if I
Hello,
can
sir.
add to that. Okay,
Yeah,
Bukunmi.
very well.
I think Bukunmi wants to speak about that.
Don't worry, you can go, sir.
All right, all right. So one thing is that you, of course, you know what you want to do. for instance, human resource. But to an extent, as undergraduates, to an extent, we don't have a first-hand knowledge of what our role is all about. Getting into, for instance, the person that mentioned finance now, may all his mind may be on maybe investment, maybe all those stuff, and his role may be into maybe sourcing for fund, borrowing, dealing with the bankers of the organization, and it may be just on the full corporate scale where you have to deal with the shareholders and also the lenders. So you don't have we. For me personally, some people have the leverage where they are maybe uncle, brothers, show them firsthand what they do, how it works in that organization. Why some of us we don't have for instance, before I graduated, if you tell me that, oh, you work as a treasury accountant, I don't understand everything about treasury account. All I know that treasurers do is that they keep money. They keep money for an organization, and that's all. But it goes beyond that. It has a lot of things has to do with treasury accounting. But I only understood what it is when I started working there. So, for instance, during the time I wanted to start, if they had told me that, oh, because what was on my offer as an intern there was finance intern. If they had told me that, oh, we have opening for treasury intern, finance intern, and accounting intern, of course, I would have picked maybe finance intern alone. Or accounting intern. Meanwhile, treasury intern was one of the things I maybe will find good footing in ahead of accounting internship. So, to an extent, if you don't understand what a face a role is, I would advise you to seek counsel from people who do the same thing. And if, for instance, you want to be an human resource accountant or a human resource manager, and you get a role for accounting intern, of course, there are two different pathways. You can't easily, for some organizations, you can't easily cross from being human resource to accounting or cross from accounting to human resource. For some, why some is very easy once you are in. All you need to do, of course, is when you know, okay, is human resource I want to do, is this organization I want to work in, why not try? And if they did not get you in with that, check out on yourself to know, okay, what led to they not getting in. Is it because you've not started your CIPM exams, or is it because you don't have a full knowledge? Why not take a class? Personally, while we're on camp, after my final exams, I took a paid class on human resource, because I don't even have an idea of which field I actually want to function in. Some will say tax, some will say audit. So I had to pay for human resource, learn what human resource is all about. I had to go online, watch videos on what financial accounting role is about, what videos on what finance role is about, and all sorts. So this would really help you. And then there are organizations where you can have the cross, but one organization doesn't give you. You don't have to settle for just one organization. There are better organizations than that organization you are looking at. The only thing you can tell me is, except that organization is maybe Shell or Chevron and some of those um, organizations paying in dollars. But if they are not those organizations that are paying in dollars, then I tell you there are better organizations than that organization, maybe in that field or not. So why not try other organizations, get into that field? It may be a less organization compared to the one you want, or maybe the money may not be exactly like the one you wanted. But why not start with that? With your level of experience, you can get into the one you wanted at the first place. That's my input.
Okay, I'm sorry. This person I'm talking about is someone that is a graduate and has finished NYSC, and the person is currently needing income. Like, so the person is kind of being depressed or being frustrated and trying to get into any jobs just to at least have something doing.
So definitely, if the person is limited with maybe choice, like you are desperate, and so if you are desperate, of course, you need to get into a place first. And of course, that place must not just be an ordinary place. It must be a bit aligning. It may not be the perfect space you wanted. Maybe, for instance, I wanted a oil and gas firm, and they will pay me maybe 500, 700 as a graduate trainee, and I did not get into the place. Maybe they are offering me something less. Then I now found bank, maybe UBA, Zenith Bank. They opened up their hands to take in graduate trainees, at that spot, maybe I know, of course, the banks can be so serious and choking when it comes to deadlines and all sorts, but I don't have too much alternatives. Why not start the graduate trainee of the bank? Why you still keep trying to apply for, if although banks will not give you human resource. Banks will give you what's it called now? Graduate trainee or management trainee, and they can put in any department, maybe marketing or banking operations or treasury or internal control and all sorts. And why are you there? I'm there for the money and to see how the corporate space is all about, and then to acquire experiences. You can pick that experience to get into where you want it. So that doesn't mean that you won't keep applying for what you want, but you can settle for, I'm not saying settle for less alone, settle for less that is related to where you are going to, knowing fully well that that less will be a stepping stone or a leverage to what you actually wanted. So I'm done.
Okay, thank you so much, Deji, for that. Thank you so much. Let me, before I come to Aminat and Jumoke, there's one question in the chat box I want to quickly do. Then we'll come back to Aminat and then Jumoke. So the question here from Oilola is that, please, what's your advice to a recent graduate that has professional exam to write this November and still wants to be engaged in an internship role? Or rather than internship, what's the better substitute for the time being? So, Bokumi, over to you for this question.
All right, thank you. All right, thank you. So, okay, Onilola, there is no better time than now because there won't be better time. That's the truth. And one thing is that as time goes on, more responsibilities will start coming. As the internship, the responsibility they are going to give you will be lesser than when you are no more an intern. So, which means that as you move forward in life, more responsibility will come. So the best time is now. So the only thing you need to do is that you have to discipline yourself. That's just, you have to nobody will do it for you. Even if you go to tutorial, you still have to find time to be disciplining yourself so that you find time to study yourself. So the best time is now. Plan your day. You know, okay, your internship, is it going to be hybrid? Is it going to be fully on site? If it's going to be fully on site, can you read maybe earlier, maybe like 2 hours during the day before you start preparing for work? And also, you should know that during those periods, maybe some social activities you have to cut them. So you know that your weekend will be devoted to that. But just know that you can do it. A lot of people are doing it, and you can do it. And there is no better time. The better time is now. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bukumi. And thanks for that and others. And I want to say that while you are doing your account, start now and also keep applying for the internship. Because from that question, maybe possibly you have not gotten an internship, but you can keep applying while you keep focusing on your ICANN exam as well. And starting now. So over to Aminat, then Jumoke, and Black Heroine. So over to you, Aminat.
Okay, thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
very well.
Okay, thank you. I would, before going straight to my question, I would like to thank Kenny, Deji, and Bukumi for this opportunity. I mean, this session has been about like a lot, getting into the job market, positioning yourself to be better. I mean, amongst the crowd. I mean, people legit pay for these informations, and here we are getting it for free. So I'd like to say thank you so much for this opportunity. I have a question, but it is like a two-in-one question, right? So I'll just go straight into it. So you have been applying to jobs, doing interviews, getting rejection letters, getting some that are not rejections, and you get to offer stage. You get, okay, let's say amongst several interviews that you've had, maybe there are two, and then you got two offer letters, and then the same role, they may be what you want, or let's say they are what you want actually, and you now have to make a decision on, okay, which organization do I go with. They may or may not be in the same industry, but let's also factor in the fact that, okay, let's say these firms are in two different industries. How do you make a decision on selecting the best offer? I mean, taking aside the money part, money is important, but we know that it goes beyond money. So taking the money part aside, how do you go about selecting the best offer in terms of career growth, taking to the fact that these organizations, you don't even really know them. Some of these people paint themselves as big icon and unicorns in the industry, but they are not. When you get inside, it's not all that they portray. So how do you go about doing your due diligence to make sure that you select the best offer for yourself? So that's the question. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Aminat. Who are you directing the question to?
I don't know. Anyone could take it. Maybe Deji or Bukumi. I
Okay,
mean, I'm
let
open
me
to.
start from. Okay, let me start from Deji.
Okay. Actually, that question is, should I say, is subjective based on two things. Of course, it depends on the kind of organization, right? One, depends on where you are currently, the level you are in. For instance, if you are someone that you are going for the experience more, and probably you got an offer from an oil and gas firm, and then you got an offer from maybe one of these big four. For instance, someone who got an offer from PwC, and then you got an offer from, let's assume, Mobile, or yes, Mobile or Total Energies. In that case, then it requires a lot of thought, because I'm very sure graduate trainees from Mobile will be paid higher than graduate trainees from PwC. But PwC is giving you maybe dues and advisory or auditing or whatever, and maybe auditing has been your passion from scratch. And what's it called now? Mobile is giving you offer for maybe an internal control officer, or maybe just graduate trainee. It is when you are done with the training period that they will determine the department or the unit they will place you in. So two things are involved. If at that time of my life, what I needed is maybe I just need money to put money together and get out of the country. Of course, for me personally, I'll pick Mobile over PwC. But if I feel like I actually love this career and I want to travel far in this career, even globally and also in Nigeria, of course, I will pick PwC over Mobile. I'll pick PwC over Mobile. Why? Because the name on my CV alone goes a long way. The experience I will get there is world class, and then the leverage I will have to get employed outside of the country is also up there. Of course, you can get the same from Mobi, but you won't get the level of experience you get in an accounting firm like that, like you will get in Mobi, because Mobi is a service industry. So what you need is to understand what you want at that period. Imagine me getting graduate trainee from maybe GT Bank or Zenith Bank, and I get graduate trainee from maybe let's assume maybe an accounting one, maybe Pedabo, or one, or maybe even one less financial consulting firm, that maybe the financial consulting firm wants to be paying me maybe 200, 250, maybe let's assume 250. And what did I even call it now? What's that company again that I mentioned not too long? This other the bank, maybe Zenith Bank or GT Bank, wants to be paying me maybe 350 or 400 as a graduate trainee. Of course, if I know that, oh, this is what I needed money at that time, I will go for the bank. But if I know that, oh, I really want to learn everything surrounding my field, and this is what you can actually get from a consulting firm. And that's why it's advisable that you intern, because that internship period gives you room to test make mistakes, try out things, get alternatives and the likes. So in that situation is subjective. Your question is subjective. So I need to know what your career goal is, what you want, and do, what those industries stand for. An oil and gas company can offer you a graduate trainee opening. Maybe they are paying 350, and an accounting firm that is not that big, or investment bank that is not that big, can offer you 300 or 280 for a graduate trainee, and you pick that accounting firm or that investment bank over the oil and gas organization. Why? Because it's best that you go to that accounting firm and the what's it called now, financial house institution, over an oil and gas firm, because of the leverage you will have. I'm using oil and gas as an example, actually, because I work in the oil and gas sector, so that's why. So because the finance industry and the accounting firm would would, would give you a leverage, will give you understanding of what it is all about when it comes to this field of interest, over an oil and gas. And oil and gas is just service. All they need is you putting your knowledge to play. You don't. There are no lot. There are not many innovations when it comes to this field in an oil and gas firm. All you do is just to work, dance to the tune of your boss, of the structure that is already on ground. This is what we need. This is target we need to make this model, create this, create that, get this done, and that's all. When a finance firm, they call you together, they be like, oh, an IFRS 17 is out now. How do we apply it to our service our client? You'll be the first person to know when what's it called now? A new what's it called? A new thing comes up. Maybe the tax law or the VAT, the withholding tax. Yes, they will tell you in an oil and gas firm, but really, an accounting firm knows that they have a lot to lose if they don't get to put you to understand those things fully. So they put you on board, get you to train, get you into all kinds of opportunities and trainings and experiences, so that you can service their clients better. And that's where you get to learn, oh, everything that has to do with maybe financial statement, or taxes, auditing, deals, and all sorts. But in service industry, you are just focused. If you're in internal control, you're in internal control. What concerns you with treasury? What concerns you with financial accounting? What concerns you with reporting? What concerns you with corporate accounting? But if you're in some of these smaller accounting firms or finance firms, or consulting firms, you get to learn from all of those fields one way or the other, and it will really help you. So as I said earlier, it's subjective, depends on where you are, what you want to do, and where you are planning to go to. So that's the answer, please.
All right, thank you, sir. Can I add something to it?
Yeah, please go
Yeah,
ahead.
please go ahead. All right. So, okay. So, with your question, yes, your question is actually subjective. So, I think another factor you need to consider is the career projection when you consider the two offers. Let's say they're offering the same amount, but the career projection in those two places can be different. And at times, maybe the bonus is too. You can be working in a place whereby even outside your salary at the end of the year, the bonus you're even getting is something you take into consideration, like the kind of bonus you're going to get, and also the learning too. Because one thing is that although there is this concept of learning curve, if you know that okay, when you enter this place, it depends on the missions too. There are some places that you enter, and when you enter there, you know that you are just going there. Oh, please, is there everybody that can hear me?
I think it's better now.
Can hear you, sir.
Oh, okay, okay. So what I'm saying in essence is that it depends on the career projection. Like, like what the career projection looks like in those two offer. Like after 1 year, after 2 years, what will be the level? And also some people like this social status of, when they call some people senior, they call some people manager. Like, what's the career projection like? In some places it's easier to become a senior, it's easier to become a manager compared to other places. And also the bonuses in some places, the kind of bonus they pay at the end of the year, you can't compare with other industry. So you have to consider those things. And I feel like another factor you need to consider is So another factor you need to consider is what okay. So okay, another factor is the learning. Like, what's the like? How much can you learn? And at times when you're entering some industry or some company, you have different mission of joining them. There are some companies that when you join them, you know that you only want to join them for 1 year or 2 years, and the mission is just to learn, especially people in consulting. But when you go to consulting is full of work, and you will learn. But when you come to that money, you won't really see money. So a lot of people just goes into places like that. When you see them taking offer, they just want to take it just to learn for that small period of time, and they move to the next industry. So all those kind of factors can actually influence which one you are picking. And the most, let me say this, I think the most important thing that should actually influence is peace of mind. The one that will give you peace of mind. Because there are some industry you will see money, but the peace of mind will be disturbed. So that's very essential, the peace of mind. Because sometimes, when you get money, at times you feel like I can cope, I can manage the pressure. But when the pressure is coming to getting too high, you will be like, hey, well, please, I'm resigning. I can't take this anymore. Peace of mind is very essential. Thank you.
Thank you.
So please, can I add to that section?
Yeah. Please go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It's very good to be among my professional colleagues here.
So great to have you,
Our
boss.
happy to be here anyway. So regarding that question, it's very subjective, like you have mentioned. And one thing is money. If you don't acquire knowledge, you can't get money. That's very true. So you're looking for money. It's the knowledge that will determine what you are going to get in your bank account. And what I would call paramount a lot. So if you are seeking for money, if you don't have knowledge, like you you'll be redundant, like you'll be on a spot. You can be in a particular organization and be getting money and you don't learn anything. You just hear the spot. And to limit you to some extent. But once you're able to get some knowledge from across, you want to get knowledge, there's not anywhere you want to go to that you usually get it very easy because you have something offers, you have something of self worth to offer, you have some skills that can actually give you some pay in future. So sometimes it's not about money. Me, like personally, I don't knowledge is actually very powerful because that what is gonna give you edge over other people outside you. So know what you want. That's the first thing that is like the dimensions. You know what you want, that what do I want. It's not that okay, my friend is doing this also, so let me also do it. So let me also learn how to do tax. So my friend is doing tax, also let me follow tax. My friend is doing a financial accountant, let me do a financial accountant. No. My friend is doing treasury accountant, let me follow too. Like me, I don't like treasury. I don't like it. So it's whatever you want that will determine okay, how you're gonna get to that particular thing. So and the major thing is knowledge. You want to get knowledge, you will get money in your bank account because you if you believe that other people have not even meet that you have not even they have not meet that it before. But because of your knowledge of skills and everything, to bring it to the table. Like this, like I love this question a lot. Like I'm so grateful to be here to this evening. So I think that should be the answer to that question. Knowledge is actually paramount. Money is good, but if you don't have knowledge, you can't because I have one of my friends. Listen, let me quickly say this one and to just put to add up this question for this question anyway. My friend got an appointment a few years in an oil and gas. So we just met I think this year. So she was not telling me that they want that to be the treasury department, to be the one that to head the treasury department. I said, okay. I said, wow, that's a big money. Oh. You're a boss. Oh. I was happy for her. But she was not telling that, this role and this, this all these job descriptions, I can't actually deliver. I said, okay, let me see the job description and everything. So he sent to me. So I have to go through the job description and everything. He said 80% of what's in the job description she cannot actually do anything. So he was not asking that, should we go for the offer or not? I said, one, it's salary subject to one. You don't know anything. The first thing is that you don't have a boss. You're not going to have a boss. You're going to be the boss. There will be people that they will bring under. Ah, are you that they are looking at you like you are the head of a particular department and you don't have anything up there? So how are you going to deliver? It's not possible. I said just for like what's it called? Like what's it called? This my other guy just mentioned, peace of mind. He will be frustrated. Why? Because his knowledge is actually very limited. And when it comes to the money is actually very old, but he cannot deliver. Even if the money is what is coming into work. And they just send you off. If you cannot deliver, you can't meet up deadlines, you can't, they will chase you. They will chase you because companies they don't waste time because they have a target to meet. So if you cannot meet that target, like it should be a what's it called, like a setback for you. So it's not about money, it's what you seek knowledge, get knowledge, and knowledge will make way for you and get more money in your account. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Muiwa, for that and the Jambukume. So, Jumoke Akande, over to you.
Good evening, sir. Thank you, sirs, for this section. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well. You're welcome.
All right. I have two questions. So the first one, I want to ask, what advice would you give to your younger self trying to just starting out in finance basically and trying to figure out which career to pursue? And the second one, if one develops interest in two different divisions in finance, let's say management consulting and investment banking, or basically investment, anything that's to do with investment, how can you evaluate and know the one that you like you really want to go for?
All right. Which facilitator are you directing the question to?
Any of the speakers actually.
All right. I will hand over to Bukumi. Bukumi, can you hear me?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, very well.
All right. Okay. Uh, okay. I know that when you are just starting your career, you know, most of the time it looks somehow dicey to know which one you are actually following. And I think that's where this internship of 18 actually is very essential, because during the internship, we get more clarity. Because at times you might think that, okay, maybe you like this one than the other, but during the internship, it will open your eyes to a lot of stuff. Okay, like for instance, now when I started with consulting firm, so basically I started in the accounting section. But one of the things when I see the accounting section, I feel like number one, the workload there is very much. And one of the reasons why the workload is very much is that at the end of every month, you have to prepare management accounts for clients, which has to be out not later than 10th of the next month. So which means that for this month now, you have to prepare the management accounts on or before 10th of September. And most of the time, the clients will not even give you the necessary documents until, like, let's say 5th of the next month. So the pressure, all those things are there. And then also when I now check, I try to assess, okay, the managers I have, the people there, I try to see the way their life are mirrored. And I feel like, is this how my life will be if I continue in this consulting line? You get. And apart from that too, money is not really the important thing, but as time goes on, money will become more important, and we need to settle bills. So when I check the finance part too, like, okay, for someone in accounting and consider other, like, people in the tax, people in audit, I feel like people in accounts, they work more and they get paid less. And one thing is that any value I'm because one thing is that money actually is one of the is more like a general way of which we value measure we use money to measure value rather, because if you are already value too, at least it has to be in a monetary term. So I feel like, okay, so if I'm in accounting, preparing financial management, advising clients, and I'm working back to back to meet up with all these deadlines, and I'm getting paid for this, and people in the auditing and tax, the amount they charge clients is actually higher than us. You know, all those kind of things, I started getting those clarity. So as I'm getting those clarity, I'm ready retracing my step that I'm really ready for this journey. So when you are starting, is actually just be open minded. When you are starting, you won't get everything figured out at once. Everything will not be figured out at once. But as you are open, as you get there, you see people in that line. So you see people that have joined that line before, people that leave. You find out, why did you leave? Why did you go to this part? So as you go, as you journey through that line, through that path, you get more clarity on what the future beholds for you too in that line. And, like, when you come to interest, you can do more than one thing freely, because where I work, I don't do tax service, but on my personal space, I do more of tax consulting. I help people prepare payroll schedule. I advise business on the kind of payroll they can do. Like, I advise them based on, do you want to have NHIF, do you want to have NHS. I even advise them that, okay, if you are paying this amount of if you want to be paying this, the net of, let's say you want to pay net of 300,000, how can we do in such a way that the taxes they are going to charge on it is going to be lesser, by trying to provide the basic housing and transport in such a way that it's going to be more favorable to the employee. So those kind of things, I've never done it in my workspace, but I still do it in my personal space because I have interest in tax. So why am I saying this is that you can actually do more than one on your own personal space. Maybe you are doing one in your work, and because of your interest for the other, you can still doing it in your own personal space. But one thing is that as time goes on, you will get more clarity. Don't just try to figure everything out once and for all. Everything will not be figured out once and for all. As time goes on, with time you get more clarity, with time you get more insight, with time we get more outlook on what the career path looks like. So don't just just start from where you are. As time goes on, you get more clarity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bukume,
Thank
for
you very
that.
much.
Yeah, thank you, Bukume, for that. Any other questions as we wrap up the floor tonight, this evening? Okay, Black Heroine. I don't know your name, but I saw Black Heroine. So you can go ahead, please. You have the floor.
Hello, good evening, everyone. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, very well.
Yeah, my name is Jovi, and I'm an economics student who is interested in finance, in the finance career. I'm currently preparing for my TS3 exam. So, in my department, we're not given the opportunity like other management students who can go for internship as a student. So we just complete our 4 years and you without an internship. And I'm actually very curious about how it look in the in practice. Like we've been learning everything theoretical. And I'm just so curious of how the work will look like. And there is no opportunity of that in my department. Like for example, currently accounting students are writing they're doing internship, but we are not yeah, we're not given the chance. Like we're not given the same opportunity like they. So how is there any way I can like have that same opportunity? Like I can have that same knowledge. Is there like an online internship or something that I can also do to not miss out? Because I'm actually curious about the work life and how it goes. So that's my question, sir.
All right. All right. Thanks, Joey, for that question. So, first, I will say that good that you have what you want. Maybe that since that you as a economic student are not given chance to go for internship like the accounting students. So first thing I'll say that, and first we are considering online internship. So that is good. You can, one of the things I believe you can begin to do is to look for organizations on that does that online internship. I mean, just relate with people, those that are in accounting, you can relate with them that, okay, do you know any organization that can intern with them online? I've heard about someone that did that was into human resource and then he did an internship online. He wasn't paid, but he was able to gain experience. So you can reach out to people, maybe in accounting that you know that they can open you up to online internship that you can learn from. And then since you want to also gain experience on what the workplace is like, before you can begin to dive in that, you can also prepare yourself by taking courses online. I think Forage, there's a website called Forage that they do online internship. It might not be really that kind of how do I call it, really kind of weighty as you want it to be, but it can give you a leverage on how what the task concerning the workplace is like a bit. So you can meet with your accounting grad if they know any opportunities that are based on online this, and you can also based on what they said, that you can also send cold emails to organizations that you know that they can also do online internship, looking at the what you want to to pivot into. So you can look for you can start drafting your CV, collating your CV, and then begin to look out for where you can do your organizations that you can do online internship with them. So does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Thank you so much.
Just to add
Yeah,
to you,
yeah.
there's also a way you can go about it. I don't know which school you attend, but there's a way
Yes,
you can.
University of Lorraine.
What do you say?
University of Lorraine.
University of Lorraine. Okay, yeah. So there's a way you can leverage networks of your alumni, there's a way you can leverage the networks of your alumni. Just like I said, that there are associations in your group you can join, communities in your group, in your school you can join, that would give you leverage, right? That you will be able to reach out to them individually. Like, for instance, if I'm in a managerial position, which I am not, of course, there are still some official activities I would need people to help me with. And it's easy for me to get interns from my school and tell them to keep up with it, while maybe they can come to the office maybe once in 2 months, or I mean once in a month, or twice in a week, or it depends on the arrangement. So you can't send cold emails to an organization. Okay, someone said CIS in Ilorin. Okay, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's tax or so. But you can't come to, for instance, you send email or you message me maybe on LinkedIn or something, and you say, oh, you want to work virtually as an intern. It's a no-no. I mean, for top organizations, fintechs today can allow that. But for organizations that I mean, traditional organizations that have been instituted for long, they even have people that are fighting to come to the office 5 days a week, and they've not even gotten the offer. Talk less of someone saying he wants to. But imagine that you have a link to the partner of that organization, of that company. So I would say that a way to help to do such a thing is attend events. Yes, that has helped too. I didn't know that one of our guys um, um, happens to be an human resource manager in another organization. So I attended one event like that in Lagos, and we started talking, and he told me, yes, he does this, he does. I was like, those times I was looking for opportunity, I would just have called you, straight call. I would just have called you, and things would have been sorted out. So if you attend events, you will network rightly in events too. And even your friends in school, right? Some of your colleagues in school are already doing stuffs for people outside. The only thing you just need is to connect with them, and they would link you up with those people that do such. So I think organizations, your school networks, and then attending events will really help with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Elizabeth, you want to say something?
But I have a Can I
Alade,
please go ahead? Yeah, good evening. I have a question. Can I please go ahead?
yeah, you have the floor.
Okay, right. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for the session so far. Despite like I joined late, but at least I've gained like some aspects in like the question and answer. So my question is this: I have like interest in three major things, and like I feel like they are so actually different. I have interest in investment banking, in auditing, and then like us. And I'm currently studying accountancy in a polytechnic in my final year. What are you going to advise, or what steps should I actually take in like building a career, or should I pick one and focus on one, or do things that are similar to the three? That's my question, sir.
All right. So we have dealt with something like this earlier, but I understand that you were just coming up. So you can't now that you have three options. That's a lot. So, but one thing I would say is that based on what I want to tell you is that start from the aspect of internship. Um, then you will be able to discover what you want. In fact, you will discover that this one I can't do it again. But you will just find one that you will be able to move with. I mean, you want to do. And then one of the things that Bukumi also mentioned that I got was that, did you mention was that the aspect of internship is for exploration. You can explore, you can just research about, it's just like you can pick anyone that you want to, and you can even research on which ones that you want to align, that you want to move with. So it's just the moment of your internship, just a starting point for you to explore, um, 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 get understanding about what the aspect that you want to work in. So that is what in the internship phase looks like, or the graduate training, or that phase that looks like. So it's just a moment of you to begin to explore around and discover the way you want to go into. So do I?
So can I ask them?
Yeah.
All right. You having interest in creativity is actually fine, but there's something that you have to single out. Like there was something out of the three, there must be one that you really like so much. That's the first thing. Because accounting is a very wide space, to be honest, and there are many fields you can actually specialize in accounting. So you must actually know where do you want, what do you want for yourself. So let me give you an example. So you can actually learn from what I want to say. These are my colleagues organizing this particular program. This is the training. Okay, so the investment banking. This is okay. All right. So now when I get into program staff, I told myself that okay, people always ask me that where do you like to serve? I say I want to serve in Abuja. or I want to start in Lagos. That was my two options. Just give you the case study so like I understand which one you have to take also. So when I was in Lagos, Abuja, which one should I go for? So there was now some cities that I heard about Abuja and everything. I just okay, I don't think I'll go to Abuja again. Let me go come and stay in Lagos. I'll come to Lagos. Lagos is actually okay. For people that study accounting, they can actually learn more in any organization that you're going to find yourself in. Now, to cut a long story short, where I was want to do at the NYC posted me to Nasarawa. Even despite the fact that I have companies I want to work with in Lagos here, and that's my paramount. So I went to Nasarawa for my 3 weeks to do camping and everything. But I was not pleased with it because I don't want Nasarawa. Why will you give me Nasarawa? I wanted Lagos. But to cut long story short, I fight for everything and I was able to come back to Lagos. And till now I'm still living. So you must have a particular target. Okay, which one do you want to go? Is it investment banking? Is it auditing? Is it this? There was this something that will give you the that you can find it very easy to actually relate. Some people don't like uh rating course. Some people like calculation course. Now, once they give you their own calculation, they are good and they will get more scores. Well, give them rating, they will find it very difficult. Why? Because that's not their strength. So you must know your strength. Okay, this is what I want. So that will actually give you how you are going to work towards it. Sometimes internship is not everybody that will get internship, to be honest. When I was undergraduate, I didn't do any internship. I didn't do any internship at all. I was just lecture up and down. So if it is after when I started in NYC, that's where we get to do internship and but it's not everybody that will get internship during their undergraduate. I just want to please know that. But make sure you do something that will actually help you to secure that your career by the time you are going to be done with your HND right now. So like right now, I can exams like that mentioned area. Uh, what are the things you want to go to work towards it, get some knowledge, and when you start with intensity, when you start after your duty, you can use that in your NYC to get yourself posted to a particular place that you can actually learn. And from there, you grow and you start making money. So know what you want, that's the first thing. And that will actually give you. But having two, three baskets or having four baskets, fire account is very, very wide to work in. No. But know what you want. You get. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Muiwa. Elizabeth, does that answer your question?
Sorry, I typed something mistakenly. I wanted to say something, Kenny.
Okay, please go ahead.
Just a minute. Yeah, people say, "Oh, I want to do oil and gas." I've seen it, and most times, not myself alone, even my colleagues at work, we smile most times when you say, "Oh, this is what I want to do oil and gas." It's best to enter the oil and gas industry as an experienced hire, not as a graduate trainee to a very good extent, because it gives you a leverage and just what I said earlier, passive value and worth. So now you said investment banking, you said I think auditing, and you said um, oil and gas. Oil and gas is an industry, it's not a department, a sector, it's not a unit. Oil and gas is an industry. You can practice um, something what you want to do in investment banking. If I ask you now, that's why I said this question is subjective. If I ask you what do you want to do in investment banking, you may say, oh, I think those that manage the stock market, the brokers, that's not the what you need is not just investment banking. It's more like someone that says that I want to work in the bank so that I can be a banker. No, not all that works in the bank, not all of them are bankers. And not even, it's not just that the fact that I'm working in the bank that makes me a banker, or that the fact that I'm not working in the bank doesn't make me a banker. I can practice investment banking in some of these organizations, just depending on where you find yourself. So what about asset management companies? How about insurance firms? How about all of those? But what you need for your investment bank, for your auditing, for your this, for your that, is to start from scratch, from an organization that will open you up to any of these opportunities. Yes, you can shoot your shot to oil and gas firm. If you get it, fine. If you don't get it, all right. Shoot your shot to Big Four. If you get it, fine. If you don't get it, all right. There are other for me personally, I count investment banks as, I mean, the lower cadre ones, not the top ones now. The lower cadre ones, I count them as cheap, as places you can easily get into if you actually want to get into them. Because I could remember during my NYC campaign time period, I actually don't want to continue in my oil and gas firm. I wanted to get out because I wanted to get more knowledge from other industries and the likes. I shoot my shot to different companies, and one of the best responses I got was from investment banks. Like they even gave me offer to come and start my NYC whatever with them and the likes. But the point is just that you should just know what you want, and not just, oh, I want tax, I want audit. Do you know what they do? Do you exactly know what tax people do in an oil and gas firm? It may not be the same with what a tax person would do in a group company. Imagine a company having like 30 SBUs or 20 SPVs. So you don't understand what they do exactly there. So why not humble yourself and not be like, oh, it's auditing, or if it's not auditing, it's nothing else. It's investment bank, or it's nothing else. Why not humble yourself? Check out opportunities. Let's taste it. Tasting. Okay, let's see what is there, and then you go, oh, so what this is what they do, or you go and have first-hand information from people who are already in the industry and get feedback from them. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Deji, thank you, Miwa. Uh, Thank you, Elizabeth. Does that um, so
Yes, it
so
does.
yeah,
Thank you very much.
all right, all right. So yeah, we'd like to draw the curtain for tonight's meeting. Apologies for the time. I mean, we started 5 p.m. and then we are now at 7:21 p.m. I want to appreciate firstly everyone. Thanks for being part of this. Thanks to the facilitators, Deji, Bukumi. Thank you, Muiwa. Thank you, Dami, Oyenuga. Thank you, Samuel. Thank you, everyone. Such a great honor to have everyone here. And I believe that what we have learned this evening will be a pivot to our next and our career journey so far in scaling up in our career journey so far. And then I want to say that if you have any questions later that drop in your mind, you can reach out to the facilitators either on LinkedIn, or particularly if you want to still further reach out to them. It's a free and open community, so you can reach out to them personally. They will help to give you advice and premium advice on what they need to do. And you can also follow the facilitators on LinkedIn, um, Deji, Bukumi, and everyone. You can follow each other, everyone on LinkedIn as well. And so to also further discuss what you want to, the questions and the concerns that you have. So I want to appreciate everyone tonight for being part of this meeting, and looking forward to the next session. I know some people are already saying that, oh, what next session, when is it coming up and the like. So I don't know, but more informations will come our way on what we'll do. So so the facilitators will share their LinkedIn details further and other details so that we can also they can also proceed from there. So I want to appreciate us to our time and then for the period that we are here together. It's been a great session. In fact, I've noted some things down that I also need to to take further as I progress in my career journey as well. So Good night, everybody, and let's have a blessed evening tonight. The key take home is that we have to keep growing, we have to keep learning. Our learning capacity determines our earning capacity, and let's be a valuable person. And I wish us success and blessings in my endeavor. Good night and good evening, everyone.
Mr. DJ, how are you, sir? Thank you for lecture.
Thank you, Mr. Gamiwa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Bukumi. Thank you, Janes. Thank you, Annie. Thank you. I say Richard. Thank you, Diola. Thank you. I wish Abo said thank you, Oluwa Koride. Thank you, Damlola. Thank you, Aminaz. Thank you, Mustafa, Nuruddin, Ogule Dari, Olatunji Praise, Omobolanle, Orioluwa, Paul, Precious, Ijibumi, Sharon, and everyone. So we close the session and like